3 epic spins in the chair before we dive into the brand new Ask Anything Q&A, where you guys left a whole bunch of questions, over 1,000 of them on the last video, and I picked out some really good ones. Some of the questions I haven't answered 600 times in the previous Q&As over the last years. And I think it's time to go. And by the way, this isn't the Q&A you need. It's the one you deserve. And with all that said, let me take a drink of this. My Blue Thunder. It tastes like fruit punch and has protein in it. And I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it's pretty good shit. Definitely check it out. So, all right, let's dive into your questions. And the first one is, it's been a while. This feels good. Does everyone feel good right now? I feel like I'm getting little tingles right here and right there. And by the way, this probably will be a longer Q&A video, so go grab your popcorn, go grab something to drink, 3 ice cubes, no more, no less, and preferably some Sour Patch Kids. Because every time you have a sour taste in your mouth, well, it just makes you feel that much better about yourself. All right, the first question is, what is the most awkward moment in your life? I think that would be a funny story for the Q&A. What was the most awkward moment of my life? Okay, here's a true story. I was in 7th grade and I was visiting my sisters who live in Texas. And there was a whole bunch of people at the house I was staying at. I fell asleep on the couch. I was wearing a pair of khaki cargo shorts, all right, and some boxers. So I fell asleep, and I don't know how this happened in the middle of the night. Maybe I had an itch or a scratch or something along those lines. But somehow my weenus came through the cargo shorts that button up, so it was flopping out. And I didn't know that. And I remember I didn't really wake up in the morning. I remember my sister laid a blanket on top of me, and I just went back to sleep. And I found out the reason she laid that blanket on me was because my weenus was dangling out. Now keep in mind, when I was sleeping that morning, everyone came into the living room, they went to the kitchen, they ate breakfast, they were doing things. Meanwhile, I'm just laying there on the couch with my weenus hanging out. So for about 3 hours, everyone in my immediate family seen my weenus. My 7th grade weenus. So that was probably one of the more awkward moments of my life. But you know what? You live and learn. Never fall asleep with a pair of cargo khaki shorts on. And by the way, that's why I wear compression underwear now. It'll never happen again. All right, the next question is, John the Flick Picker, what movie do you like better, The Dark Knight or Terminator 2 Judgment Day? Oh, damn you. Damn everything you stand for. How can you ask somebody that question? All right. I love both movies. I love both movies more than I should. I think they're both phenomenal action films that go beyond the genres that they're set in, and they just really just immerse me and give me everything I want from that cinematic experience. But I do have an answer. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is my more preferable pick of a film, and I'll tell you why. Because I love Batman. You guys know I love Batman. I would kill everyone in my family just to become Batman for one day. I would. I'm sorry, Mom, but I want to be Batman. But no, in all seriousness, when it comes to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I just feel like when you start watching that movie, it takes you so many different places. It has so many different locations, and the characters, I really can see myself as a young John Connor, a little shithead riding a dirt bike, breaking laws, hanging out with a kid who has a red mullet, and we just listen to badass, rock music as I drive around on my dirt bike. Some big guy who's a T-800 cybernetic organism just shows up one day to protect me, and I become friends with him, and I really bond with him, and I have to later melt him, and, his thumb goes up as he goes down into the lava. That's just, that story resonates with me. And Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I've probably seen that movie more than any other film in my entire life, and I love The Dark Knight. I've seen that movie quite a bit, but I gotta go with Terminator 2 Judgment Day on that one, just by a nudge, just by a slight nudge, but... All right, plus Arnie. Every time I see Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie, it just really makes me feel good about myself. Like, I get that warm, fuzzy feeling. It just, I don't know, I really forget about life when I watch that movie. So, and that's why we're watching movies. We want to forget about life, all the daily bullshit that we go through. It's escapism at its finest. By the way, my name is Morgan Freeman. All right, just making sure. Last time I shot a Q&A, the mic was off. All right, that's how I mic test everything, with Morgan Freeman impressions. Shitty ones at that. John, go on even more movie fights. You know what? They do movie fights in Los Angeles, California. I live in Indiana, so that's a plane ride I don't want to take because I hate plane rides. And the one I take to LA every time takes about 3.5 hours. And every time I get on that fucking plane, I'm between two fucking people that have so much body heat, my face starts sweating, I feel all sticky and gooey, and I'm sitting like this the whole time for 3.5 hours. I can't, unless I have to go there, or unless somebody buys my plane ticket, I want to go, and maybe I will very soon, but it's just very hard to step on that plane to do that. And every time I get on a plane to go somewhere, it's always delayed. It doesn't matter where I go. My flight is always delayed. But I did do movie fights. If you guys didn't know, I did the Chicago WizardCon movie fights, the live one, a couple weeks back. So look out, or go check that video out over on Screen Junkie's channel. So that was a good time. It was really fun. I'd like to do the full in-depth movie fights episode, though. But those things take they're like an hour and a half long. And I don't know if I could sit there for an hour and a half and do one of those and keep up the energy. I feel like I collapse halfway through. All right. When you're watching an action film, what type of fighting do you prefer? Gritty street fighting or super well choreographed fights? Also, for the next Mad Max movie, what would you like to see? I'd just like to see another Mad Max movie because I've watched that Blu-ray several times now, and I just pick up on all these little details more I watch it. But as far as action goes, I hate jump cuts. I hate fast, quick cutting action with shaky cam. I think that's terrible from an artistic standpoint. It's garbage. I think it's just lazy, sloppy bullshit, and that's how they get by without really choreographing a real fight scene. But I like a mix of two things. I like slight realism, but I like wide shots, and I like extended takes. So, like, have you seen the Eric Bana fight scene in the movie Hannah? It's like a long one-take fight scene where he's kicking a lot of ass in the subway. I like things like that. And also, if you could blend something like that with the Batman versus Bane fight sequence, not the one in Batman and Robin where Bane falls into a pile of boxes and a snowman. I'm talking about in The Dark Knight Rises where Batman's fighting Bane, and it's not super realistic, but you feel like the gravitas. We're going to say the word gravitas right now. Is that a word? I think it is. But yeah, you can feel the impact of every punch. And, it's not fast jump cuts, you see what's happening, and that's the kind of fight scenes I like, so. All right. If you weren't doing YouTube as a full-time job, what would you be doing? Keep up the good work. Thanks. And it comes from a good YouTube pal, J-War. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, what would I be doing? Well, YouTube right now is, I know I don't put out as many videos as I should, but I assure you the ones I do put out, I put extra special care into them. With every little one. I give it a little hug and a kiss before I send it out. But yeah, what would I be doing? I don't know. Probably, working in advertising or marketing somewhere, maybe like that. I'm not quite sure because I think about things and I'm just like, I don't know what I would like to do every day for the rest of my life. YouTube kind of just lets you be creative. It lets you do what you want when you want to do it. And I like that schedule because I like to have my own freedom and my own time. But yeah, I'd probably be working in like marketing or advertising, or I'd like to be doing something slightly artistic, or I don't know. I'd probably be selling cars. In all honesty, I'd probably be selling cars for a living. That's probably what I'd be doing. So that's my backup plan. Do you like the Interstellar soundtrack? If not, try Interstellar soundtrack No Time for Caution. I do 100 push-ups when the soundtrack comes on. Yeah, I do like some of the Interstellar songs. I can't remember the one I like. It's very epic. It has like a very orchestra type sound to it. I'm trying to think of it. I can't remember it. Anyway, yeah, I do like it, but it's not my favorite Hans Zimmer soundtrack by far because it's just not one of those scores I like to put on my phone and listen to in the gym. I'm more of like the Dark Knight Rises type score, or Broken Arrow, very overlooked, or like the Rock theme from Hans Zimmer. So I like things like that. Hey, John, what did you first think when you first heard that Christian Bale was going to play Batman after watching American Psycho? I'm going to tell you a weird story about Batman Begins. I remember before Batman Begins came out, there was a teaser trailer for Reign of Fire, that dragon movie with Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. And I remember the teaser trailer was a little boy walking into a dark, isolated building that looked like a cave, and all of a sudden a bright light appears, which turns out to be a dragon. But up until that point, I thought that was a Batman teaser trailer. I really did. And both movies just happen to have Christian Bale in them. So just weird backstory on that. But I always thought Christian Bale was perfect for Bruce Wayne and Batman. You know, because if you look at him in American Psycho, he kind of has the Bruce Wayne persona down, kind of an asshole. And he definitely had the physique for Batman. So I always thought it was a good decision. And by the way, and when he was cast as Batman, no one really complained. I don't remember any big complaints. Like, when Michael Keaton was cast, we had complaints. When George Clooney was cast, we had complaints. For good reason. And when Ben Affleck was cast, we had complaints. But when Christian Bale was cast, no one really complained about that. Alright, did you get all the ladies in high school? I got a few in high school. But I'll be honest with you. I kind of sort of get more now. I think working out helped. All right. Hey, John, does your girlfriend enjoy movies? If so, what are her and yours favorites? I don't really have a girlfriend right now. But yeah. All right. Since 4K Blu-rays are coming in 2016, would you rush to get a new Blu-ray player or start upgrading your current Blu-ray collection and getting new titles? Or are you going to stick to what you have for the time being? You know, okay, here's the thing about 4K. It's kind of just, all right. When it comes to 4K, let's put it this way. Some of the Blu-rays that we have right now, the transfers are shit. They're barely acceptable as Blu-rays. So do you really think all those catalog titles back there, they're going to go back in, redo for 4K Blu-ray? No, they're not. You're going to get 1/3 of those at the most. You're going to have a smaller catalog, a smaller selection of films to pick from, and really 4K is just an upgraded Blu-ray. You don't need 4K unless you have a 70-inch TV. You don't need it. I'm happy with some of the movies I have, and keep in mind, like Taxi Driver, that's a 4K restoration Blu-ray. That's good. It looks fine. Like I said, unless you have a 70-inch TV, or even maybe a 75-inch TV, it doesn't matter. It truly does not matter. And I would say 90% of the people won't even notice the difference between Blu-ray and 4K Blu-rays on a 70-inch TV. So most people don't even know the fucking difference between a DVD and a Blu-ray. And Blu-ray's been out since 2006, so I'm pretty much content for the time being. And plus, I just don't want to rebuy all that shit. Like, I'm watching Gladiator on Blu-ray right now, and I'm like, that looks pretty good. So, alright. Hey, John, I enjoyed seeing you in the live movie fights. I would have said Quentin Tarantino over Scorsese personally. Could have made it, but my question is, what advice can you give in terms of formatting a script? Yeah, you know, the reason I picked Scorsese for my answer was I was just thinking his filmography of films, he has so much to pick from, and plus, you know, in the last 10 years, look how many movies he's put out. So that's kind of why I went with Scorsese on that one. But, for formatting a script, I don't know anything about script writing. I really don't. I've researched it a little bit to try to educate myself, and here's what I can tell you. As far as writing a script goes, I would be very bored by that. I feel like, because the way you write a script is you're very direct, very to the point, and you have to leave out a lot of details. And the way I think of things is I want to be very descriptive when I write a script. And that's kind of like rule number 1, don't do that. So I wouldn't be good at writing a script. And as far as formatting a script, I don't know anything about it. So are you excited for Spectre? If so, what do you think about the trailer? Yeah, as far as the new 007 film Spectre goes, I sort of want to be more excited than I am right now. As far as Sam Mendes directing those films, I think Sam Mendes is a phenomenal director. He directed American Beauty, and I'll be honest, Skyfall really wasn't all that. It was really good. It was a quality film, no complaints really, and it looked beautiful, but it kind of is a little bit too drabby for me. I think he tries to be a little bit too drabby with his style of filmmaking, especially for 007 films. I'm more of a fan of Casino Royale. Like, I like that visual style. I like that way of filming. I like what Martin Campbell did with Casino Royale much more than what Skyfall did. And as far as the new movie goes, it looks great. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of great action sequences. I'm sure the acting will be really good. And I'm sure I'm going to like the movie, but I just want a little bit more vibrance in the way that the film looks. And yeah, so I'm more of a fan of Casino Royale. Hey John, I've been watching some of your old videos and I have a question. You mentioned in some older videos that you were interested in conspiracies, etc. My question is, what are some conspiracy theories that you're interested in, and what is your take on them? And also, how come you always say "set" when you say "I'm going to sit down"? Is it just the way you pronounce it for some odd reason? I mispronounce everything I say, and I'm very aware that I do it. But here's the thing. When I talk very fast. And I feel like fluidly, when I speak, I mispronounce words just so it flows quicker out of my mouth. It's easier to say. It's like when an auctioneer is saying, "So to the man in the khaki pants over there in the purple shirt," he mispronounced 5 of those words, but it flowed out quicker. And it's kind of like a R&B rap artist. Like they mispronounce words so they rhyme and flow better. That's how I speak. So if I mispronounce something, I'm aware of how it's supposed to be pronounced. I just don't give a shit. But as far as your question goes, conspiracy theories. Oh, I love conspiracy theories. 9/11, New World Order, global takeovers from one central government. And the thing is, do I believe in everything I hear or read or watch? No. Some of it's fucking crazy. But it's interesting nevertheless. And sometimes there's more than a grain of truth in some of these things. Because sometimes if you just step back and look around, you're like, some of this shit's actually happening right now. So it's just interesting to me. Hey, John, what are some of the craziest, most dangerous, stupidest things you've ever done? In high school, me and my friends had death wishes. I mean, I remember being in cars, driving 165 miles per hour. I remember being pushed into bushes and by shopping carts. I remember just doing a lot of dumb, stupid shit. But I do remember one time, and I don't advise this because looking back, you're just like, that was so irresponsible. But at the time, you're like, this is fucking awesome. I remember my friend lit his shoes and his pants on fire, and then there was like 10 of us standing around, and we basically had to pee him out. We had to pee the fire out. Like, that's the kind of stuff I did on Friday nights in high school. How's the Patreon thing going? Yeah, Patreon. We'll talk about that. Just let me take a drink of my delicious protein Hawaiian punch. That's so good. All right. As far as Patreon goes, I have it ready to go. It's pretty much set up, but a few things I keep tweaking and changing, and I don't feel like I'm ready to launch it yet. Because I want to start being more consistent when I launch it, and I have a lot of ideas, and I want to make sure I have the time to put it into them, because if you guys are supporting me on Patreon, I want to make sure I give you everything I have in return. And also, a few things kind of kinked up some of my plans, like Google Live Hangouts. I can't get mine to work right now for some reason. Don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my computer or my webcam or whatever. But that was going to be one of the perks, and I want that to work before I actually launch it. So little things like that. And I'm thinking maybe I'll launch it in the fall. Maybe then. So, John, how big are your biceps? It depends. If I just flex them right now and I measure them, they're just over 17 and a half inches. But if I got a pump and measured them, I don't know. Maybe closer to I don't know. I don't know how big they'd be with a pump. But right now, cold, with a flex, 17 and a half, just slightly over. Would you rather eat 1,000 scorpions or 100 snakes? What a great question. I'd rather eat 100 snakes. Are you kidding me? Scorpions just look fucking gross. But snakes kind of look good. Have you ever seen movies where they eat snakes like in the Wild West? You're like, that looks good. Have you ever watched Road Warrior where the gyro pilot eats a snake? I'm like, I want to eat that. Plus, there's probably a lot of protein in snakes. So, hey, John, when you started working out and now still, how did you handle your diet? Diet's something I kind of learned along the way. I wouldn't say I even really gave a shit about my diet all that much until like probably last fall, maybe about a year ago, is when I really started noticing and taking into consideration what I eat. And don't get me wrong, I pretty much eat whatever I want to, but I limit that. You know, as long as you eat good on a consistent basis, you can eat shit on an inconsistent basis. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I'll eat pizza 2 out of the 7 days out of the week, but you know, I try to eat a lot of baked chicken, like rice or tuna or broccoli. I eat a lot of oatmeal with protein in it, and bananas, and almonds, and peanut butter. That's pretty much the majority of what I eat. And then I eat steaks and stuff like that. But yeah, I forgot the question. My brain's melting right now. Yeah, as far as your diet goes, you know, just try to eat a lot of protein, try to keep the carbs low, try to keep the fats low, and try to eat somewhat good and healthy. Yeah, and drink a lot of water, and cut soda out of your diet. You know, drink diet soda if you want to every once in a while, but just cut the sugars and all that bullshit out. And you'll probably lean out within like a month or so. Hey Johnny, just curious, but how tall are you? I'm 6 foot tall. I love you, you're my idol. Well, I love you too, thank you. What is your favorite X-Men movie? I would probably say X-Men Days of Future Past. I really think that one's just the most fun. I think it's the most well put together X-Men film. I think has the most fun. It has some of the best action sequences. And really it's just overall the most enjoyable watch out of all of them. So I would say X-Men Days of Future Past. And I'm hoping X-Men Apocalypse is good, even with purple Apocalypto. Or Apocalypse, yeah. I call him Apocalypto. By the way, Apocalypto, great movie. Mel Gibson. Hey John, already answered that. John, what gave you the inspiration and fuel, yes, that was a pun of Mad Max, to begin making videos? I remember back in 2008 and 9, I remember I was really into collecting movies, and I really got back into movies and like watching them. I remember coming across some YouTubers. I remember Cool Duder. You know, I was hanging out with his buddy, walking around town, shooting vlog videos, and I was like, that's essentially kind of what I do with life. And I remember watching that, and I was like, I think I could do that too. So that was kind of like one of those. Another buddy of mine on YouTube, Crazy Jason, they had Kakalaki Movies, where they drove around looking for movies, and that's what I did probably like 4 or 5 times a week. And I was like, I do that. Why don't I just record myself doing it? So that's kind of, I'd say those are probably the things. Plus, I was just a lonely kid living in my parents' basement at the time. So that's probably another reason. All right. All right. Because you're the biggest Batman fanboy, if you had to cosplay as Batman, Bane, or Joker for a whole day on the streets at the stores, who would it be and why? If I had a cosplay, I'd probably say I'd make a better Bane than I would anyone else. But in order to be Bane, I gotta wear a bald cap or shave my head. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to shave my head. Like, it looked really cool, but I don't know if I want to do it. So Batman or Bane. I don't think I'd be a very good Joker. In your opinion, what is the most underrated horror film? I don't know if it's the most underrated, but one of my favorites is The Ring. The Ring remake. It's fucking terrifying to me. I don't know why. That movie just terrifies me. Like that little girl crawling out of the TV, or just like, I don't want to watch VHS videotapes anymore. So probably that. What? Okay. Have you ever seen the movie? Have you ever seen a movie so bad that you had a physical reaction to it? I don't know. Fantastic Four made me puke in my mouth a little bit. Usually my physical reaction to a bad movie is kind of falling asleep or just getting up and leaving the theater. I remember the movie Wolf Creek. I remember watching that and had the urge the entire time to leave the theater. I remember The Matrix 2 Reloaded. The first time me and my friends went to see it in the theater, I'd say the point where they got to the Keymaster, we were all looking at each other like, this fucking sucks. And we got up and left to go eat. And I later watched the movie in the theater. I think I got bored like 2 weeks later and finished the movie. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of other movies I've got up and left the theater just because I was like, I don't want to watch this shit. All right. And another thing, when it comes, I'm just if you guys want more info and insights, there's been a numerous amount of times where I've gotten up and left a movie because of technical issues in the theater, and no one else noticed this. No one else picked up on this. I'm like, I remember seeing I can't remember what it was, but I seen a movie in the theater, and half the one side of the screen was like out of focus. Just a little bit out of focus, but it was definitely out of focus and a little bit blurry. It was definitely something to do with the projection lens, and I was like, how does no one else notice this shit? Like, you guys paid $10 to be here, and you don't even notice half the screen's fucking out of focus. And I remember getting up, talking to the manager, and they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, I don't want to see the movie. And I remember one time I went to see Titanic 3D, and like the 3D, the way that they project those onto the screen, there's like another plate in front of the projection. So something with that plate was off. So the 3D effect wasn't quite right. You could tell it wasn't right. And I was like, how does no one else notice this? Like, it's hurting your eyeballs. And I later seen the movie in the proper, they showed it properly, like in another theater, and I'm like, this looks great. So a lot of people got ripped off that day. But yeah, I leave the theater. I'm very anal retentive when it comes to my movies. What state do you live in? I live in Indiana. Did you watch True Detective Season 2? Yes. True Detective Season 2. So much potential. So much potential. And then they put Matthew Vaughn in it. There were some things where they had really good ideas, and they just didn't quite explore those ideas. And then they set up all these things in Season 2 of True Detective, and nothing had a payoff. And I think the writer of True Detective in the first season, like, he worked on that for like 10 years. And you could really see that he worked on that for 10 years. And I feel like when it came to Season 2 of True Detective, they just kind of rushed it out. And it was really just underwhelming. But yeah, all right. Hey, John, I know this comment is really late, and you have probably already chosen the questions that you will answer, but can you tell me some of the different workouts that you do for your biceps? I've been doing the same workouts for a while, and I just want to try something new. By the way, you're fucking hilarious. Well, thanks, man. With that said, let me take another drink of my protein. I'm getting a little bit dehydrated. Now my eye itches. Yeah, bicep workouts. Why is it everybody who starts working out, they only work out two things: their biceps and their fucking chest? Have you noticed that? I did that for about a year. But biceps, there's 100 different workouts you can do. You can do hammer curls. You can do normal dumbbell curls. You can do the machines, more of an isolated bicep. You can do reverse grip curls with a straight bar. You can do close grip, wide grip, or that's close, that's wide. You can do go over to the cables and put the rope or the handle on it, and that's constant tension. And you can do some of that. That's really good. That'll burn out your biceps. And change up the angles, keep in mind, your bicep has, it's not just one, there's different little heads in your biceps. So, you can do more of an isolated bicep curl, or you can bring it in. I'm trying to think what else do I usually do? I've been keeping it pretty simple lately, but hammer curls, if you want to make your arm wider, definitely do hammer curls, and you can go a little bit heavy with those. But keep in mind, like, when you go to like bicep curl dumbbells, I see people do this in the gym. They're doing way too much weight. Like it's an ego thing. I get it, and you don't want to look like a little pussy in the gym. It's okay. But sometimes I'll be doing like 25-pound dumbbells, and you know what? It's about how much you gotta hold it, squeeze it, and put all the tension you can, and go back real slow. And that's how you build muscle. Just put that tension there and squeeze it at the top as hard as you can. You did 10 of those right, you're going to have one of the best workouts of your life. You don't need to do 85-pound, dumbbell bicep curls. All right, because you're going to end up using every other muscle in your body besides your bicep when you do them. So, all right, that's enough about biceps. But really, can you ever talk enough about biceps? All right. Hey, got a really good question. What is your last name? My last name is Flickinger, but my nickname, because my last name, has either been Flick or Flickster. So that's why I call it Flickster. But yeah, my last name is Flickinger. So it still has Flick in it. Hey John, this is a really personal question, but how's it going with your new lady friend? Yeah. Lady friends. You gotta love them. But, yeah, I'm kind of in between right now and just enjoying life. Have you watched Game of Thrones Season 5? Yes. Really liked it. I need more. What is your favorite TV series of all time? If I had to pick one, either Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad. By the way, you're awesome. I'm a fan from Bangladesh. Well, thanks, man. All right. Hey, Johnny Utah, what's one memory that always makes you laugh? Oh. I remember in high school, I did internship for my my librarian teacher. He was a weird fucking weirdo. Just like if you think of like a pedophile, like a creepy weirdo, or you think of like Robin Williams from 1 Hour Photo, that's this guy. And he would always just say the most random shit to me. And keep in mind, this was like the first thing I went in. I just did it for like bullshit. I wanted an easy credit. And I remember it was my first like thing of the day in high school. And I was a senior at this point. I didn't care about school anymore. I was done. I had senioritis. And I remember I would show up late every day. He'd tell me to like put the books away. He'd be like, listen, Jonathan, there's two things you have to remember in life. Freedom or liberty. Which one do you want? I'd be like, what do you mean? He's like, well, with freedom, do you have to wear a seatbelt legally? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, that's freedom. But if you didn't have to wear that seatbelt, that's liberty. And I'm like, you got a good fucking point, man. But he's a weird, creepy fucker, and he always put his hand on my shoulder. But I kind of liked it. So anyway, I remember he'd always like tell me to put away books, and like I just like get lazy and just put all the books in one shelf. And I remember one day I was really tired, and I was sleeping under a table in the library, and I remember his little feet were walking back and forth looking for me. And just every time I think about that, I laugh. So that's a story. What year did you graduate high school? 2006? That's a long time ago. Oh my god. What is your favorite Disney and DreamWorks animation movies? When it comes to Disney, I would say, are we counting Disney and Pixar? Because I gotta go with Toy Story. Let me look at them back there. Oh, I like Aladdin. And as far as DreamWorks go, I like How to Train Your Dragon, the first one, but I like Shrek. I think Shrek's really probably the best DreamWorks animated movie ever. What is your weekly gym routine? By the way, your biceps are insane. I'm scared your veins will pop out into the lens one day. One day, I hope they do. My gym routine is, I usually go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I do, the protein's making me burp. But I do like a back biceps day. I do a chest day. I do a shoulders day. I do I work out my core like every day, but just a little bit. I throw in a leg day in there, even though I hate leg day. I don't care what anyone says. Leg day is not fun. I do like on my back day, I work out I work out shoulders a little bit on that day. And then I work out my traps that day. And really, when it comes down to, like, I don't have set dedicated days just for muscle groups. Like, I aim for those. But usually, I end up doing a little bit of everything every day. But, like, I'll mainly focus, say it's a chest day, right? On chest day, you're going to work out your shoulders and you're going to work out your chest. But then I'll do a little bit of arms. And I'll do some triceps. I'll do some biceps. I'll do, I'll do some core workouts. Just... I try to blend in everything throughout every day because I don't feel like hitting one muscle group one time a week is enough. For me, it's not. So that's typically what I do. I change it up all the time. Another lifting question. What made you want to start lifting? I remember, I was very sad. I got very weird, very skinny, very out of shape. And I was like, this is just not going to do. And I felt like shit. I looked like shit. I was very tired and, I just started hitting the gym. And I remember it's because my girlfriend at the time broke up with me. It was like 4 or 5 months later. And I was like, I got to get back into the game. And then, was like, I gotta go to the gym. And I think just listening to epic music, watching movies with training montages in them, really motivated me to go to the gym. And once I started, I just kind of never stopped. So, did you ever wish that you never wasted your time it took to get through college? Yes. Yes. If I could go back and honestly save all the money and time I put into college, would I probably undo it? Maybe. Maybe I would. But you never know. You never know what life's going to throw at you later. So, like, at the time in college, I didn't know, like, I could make a living off YouTube. I never comprehended that. So it's hard to say. It really is. Unless you have a dedicated game plan that you can make it through life without college, then go to college. But if you don't know what you're going to do, then maybe go to college. Because the only thing it's going to hurt is probably financially. Because college payments, especially if you live in America, because college is a money-making scam, to say the least. But in other countries, college is free, which education should be free. But yeah, that's my only regret is I have to pay those student loans back. But it just depends what you want to do in life. If you want to be artistic and make a living at that, do I recommend you need to go to college? Probably not. Just go out and do it. Use your talents, make the money. But if you want to be a doctor or lawyer or a chemical engineer, yeah, you probably need that college degree. Hey, Johnny Utah. Oh, I already answered this. Can you please make a video about which supplements you take? I will probably make that video. Give me some time. I'll make that video. I think that'd be a good video to make. But I keep it pretty simple. Every once in a while I take creatine. I take amino acids to help with recovery. I take protein, obviously. I take whey protein, Body Tech whey protein. And I take shit tons of pre-workout. And I take a daily multivitamin. So it's pretty much what I take. So keep it simple. But really when it comes down to it, protein. Protein builds muscle. That's what you want. That's what you need. So anyway, guys, wait. I have one more question. Do you find your life fulfilling? Some days I do, but then other days I sleep for 15 hours. I wake up in the cold feeling all lonely, and I'm like, I feel empty inside right now. But some days I do find my life fulfilling. I'll tell you, you guys want to hear the honest truth? When I make a new YouTube video, right? And I make it, I click live, it goes live, people watch it, people are like, yeah, this is good, I like it, haha, that's fulfilling to me. I'm like, I feel like I did something, and that's probably the most fulfilling moment of my life, right there, when I make a new YouTube video. So I need to make more of those, so I feel more fulfilled in life. So anyway, guys, yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this Q&A, and I hope it was a fruitful and enjoyable Q&A. So yeah, as usual, ask anything and everything down below. Ask some questions, get creative, get different, and ask whatever you want down below in the comment section on this video. And those will be the questions I pick for the next Q&A video. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.